Hello everybody and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. Today is BookList Thursday. Super excited to be here and I am loving this next topic we have for today. So BookList Thursday is something that I do with my friend Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book recommendations, book ideas, book thoughts, just a general book chat for you, usually featuring 5 different books. Today's topic is nonfiction that reads like fiction. So if you've been here a while, you know that I'm really loving getting into the nonfiction side of things. I'm learning so much from these books and finding that they are phenomenal. They are not your grandma's old nonfiction books. They are not boring. They are super informative, super interesting, and I've gotten so much out of these lately. I have 5 books for you today that I wholeheartedly 100% recommend, and you need to go read these books. They are awesome. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of physically reading nonfiction books. I love listening to nonfiction books. That's where I do most of my nonfiction reading. The ones that I love, I buy the books because there's usually a quote, there's usually something in there I want to come back to, and I definitely want to reference them in the future, and so I want them on my shelves. So these 5, obviously I have them, but I've listened to all of them except for one I did read. All right, so let's get started. We'll just start off the top. First one is Night by Elie Wiesel. I read this initially when I was in high school, I think. It's so good. This is the book that made me fall in love with World War II and what happened, that point in time in our history, got me into reading anything World War II, honestly. So this is, Elie Wiesel was in a concentration camp. He was actually in Auschwitz, there we go. He called that his home in 1944. And this is a record of what he went through, who he lost, what he had to do. It's heartbreaking, but it's so good. And he recently passed away, which makes me so sad, but really good book. Keeping with that whole World War II genre, we're gonna go with Unbroken by Laura Hildebrand. This is the story of Louis Zamperini. He was an Olympic runner before the war broke out, and then he joined the Air Force and became an airman. First of all, his plane went down the Pacific Ocean. He survives 47, I believe, days at sea in a raft. And then he gets captured by the Japanese and he gets sent to like one of the worst POW camps in Japan and deals with one of the worst people at those camps. But man, if you want a good survival story, it is right here. It's crazy. I had to remind myself a number of times, this really happened. This really happened to this man, and he survives it. It's just unbelievable. It's a little big, it's a little chunky. I do suggest the audio. I really enjoyed the audiobook of this, but it's phenomenal. It's a really great feel-good story. Even though there's some horrible things that happen, it's a feel-good story. The next book I have for you is The Fact of a Body by Alexandria Marzano-Lesnovich. This is a memoir that follows her account of when she was interning in Louisiana, and she was helping defend a man that was an accused murderer. And she's very anti-death penalty. Her position was like, she was not going to be convinced otherwise until she worked on this case. You learn why this man is a horrible man. It brings up some things that happened in her past, and it's unbelievable. It's great. Again, nonfiction that reads like fiction. This one I had to remind myself a few times. This really happened. It really happened. But it just taught me that even though I think some of my views on things are very concrete, they are never concrete. Things and events can happen that you may be faced with a moment that will change your mind on things that you think are so solid and black and white. And so this just is a really good reminder of that to know that can happen. So really great book. All right, the last 2 are easily my favorites. These are the 2 that I've been like shouting from the rooftops from people that you need to read this. These will open your eyes so much. So first one is Hillbilly Elegy. This is by J.D. Vance. This is J.D. Vance's account of his family growing up as a hillbilly. And it says, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis, and you get an understanding for this culture. You get an understanding for how people can get, when you are born in this specific culture, it's hard to get out of it. How drugs can play a role with things, how society can help play a role in things. And even though you're trying to pull yourself up from your bootstraps and be better, it's really hard to do that. So J.D. Vance, there's the part in here that really sticks with me most is he went to college. He got into college. He was a smart kid. And the way the traditional college approach wasn't always working for him. And so he almost, I think he did fail some classes. He still made it and he still got there, but it was kind of, you really gotta not judge, and you really have to do what you can to help every individual situation and not try to cookie cutter everything for people. So very interesting book. Highly recommend. It's pretty short. I also listened to this on audio. It was really, really great. Loved it. The last book I read, and again, I cannot, if you pick one book out of my recommendations to read, this needs to be it. It needs to be it. I read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Now, Trevor Noah is the host of The Daily Show. Very funny man. I don't watch The Daily Show. I had no clue, really, who he was. I was just told to read the book, and I mean, I listen to people who tell me to read things. So I listened to this on audio as well and was just blown away. Blown away. There are so many lessons in here, and the biggest lesson in here that I got, so first let me tell you about the book. So Trevor Noah grew up in South Africa during the apartheid. His mother was black, his father was white. That was illegal. He was literally born a crime. So it talks about how his mother had him on purpose. Like, that was her plan. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't out of crime. He was born out of love. And the things they had to do to protect him, his mom, his dad, so that someone wouldn't get arrested, because they could have easily, was just crazy. The part in here that hit me the most was he talked about, you know, the old saying, give a man a fish he eats for a day, teach a man a fish he eats for a lifetime. We're missing a part of that. Yes, give a man a fish he eats for a day, teach a man a fish and give him a fishing pole and he eats for a lifetime. And he talks about how if someone is trying to better themselves, it is up to us to help give them the tools to better themselves. So not just teaching them how to fish, but we need to give them the fishing pole, maybe a net, and possibly a bucket. The knowledge isn't enough. Schooling isn't enough. We got to do a little bit more. So that was huge. It was huge in here. There's another part in here that talks about his friend Hitler, and that was amazing. That his very eye-opening as far as what not educating a group of people will do. So, beautiful book. Again, narrated. Trevor Noah narrates the audiobook. Highly suggest. This is a book I will have on my shelves forever. I have to go in and actually put my post-it notes in here on the parts that I have highlighted and written. I need to find them because I would love to go back into them and share some with you, but I don't know where they are. But yes, pick this up. Pick it up. Pick it up. So there you go. There are my 5 nonfictions that read like fictions. Very, very, very good books. If you've read any of these books and you want to chat about them, leave a comment below. But before you even do that, make sure you head over to Sarah's channel over at Sarah's Nightstand. Her link is in the information below. See what her 5 are. I have a feeling we might have one in common. I'm not sure, because maybe one of these was a recommendation from her. So she might have it in her pile too, but I'm super interested to see what she has to say. And if you have any good nonfictions that read like fictions, again, leave them below. I'm always looking for a good one to listen to. So other than that, like and subscribe, and have a great Thursday. Bye.